Welcome to Stick to Sports. I'm Joey Pulatsky.
And I'm Zach Malama. Today, March Madness is in full effect, and the NBA has a lot of news out of it.
Roll it. The biggest story in the opening weekend of March Madness came as number 16 Fairleigh Dickinson upset number 1 Purdue in the opening round as the second seed, the second ever 16 seed to knock off a 1 seed. The Knights get it done under the leadership of Tobin Anderson. Zach, your thoughts on this historic upset?
It was an unbelievable win for FDU. Shout out to Tobin Anderson. What a guy. Friends with Coach Jason Leone of Oswego State. Wow. Big time for him. But the difference in the game, Purdue's lack of three-point shooting, as well as the turnovers, really built up. And credit to FDU for taking advantage of those Purdue mistakes. But I fully believe that this game was Purdue just losing it.
It was a combination. I'm with you. It was definitely partially Purdue just doing what Purdue does, losing to a double-digit seed year in and year out. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's some weird mental thing that happens year to year. But you got to also give props to Fairleigh Dickinson, like you said, Zach. Tobin Anderson, the coach there. Just a great game plan. The full belief. You hear it all the time. If you're going to go in, pull a historic upset like this, it starts with belief before the skill. The belief was there. I mean, the soundbite that came out before the game of him saying that he felt like they could beat Purdue, which he said afterwards was taken a bit out of context, was just trying to get the guys to buy in a bit. But having that, it was going to blow up either if you get it done or if you don't get it done. One way or another, it was going to go viral. A great game plan to shut down Zach Edey. The guards were phenomenal. Just a historic game. They pull it out at the buzzer. Yeah,
it's unbelievable from FDU and just able to figure out a way to find a victory. And they basically dominated Purdue when it came to the guard play. Great work on defense, really figured it out, and just an unbelievable game plan from the start from FDU. But Princeton, the 15-seeded Princeton Tigers, have officially made it into the Sweet 16 after 2 huge upsets on Thursday and Saturday. The first win shocked the college basketball world with a 59-55 victory over 2-seeded Arizona. Princeton would come back 2 days later with a 78-63 win over Missouri. Now they travel to Louisville as part of the South region. They'll meet up with 6-seed Creighton. Joey, did you ever see this coming from Princeton?
Zach, in all honesty, I thought the game against Arizona was obviously going to be harder. Once they got past that, I thought they had a real good shot at beating Missouri in that second round. You have guys on the inside, the current Ivy League Rookie of the Year, and then the 2022 Ivy League Player of the Year, 2 bigs inside. Thought clear as day they had a chance to out-rebound a Missouri team that gets out-rebounded by 7 rebounds per game. They go in there, win the rebound margin 44-30. They win the game both inside and out. Heading to the Sweet 16, and honestly don't hate their draw against Creighton either. This is a good team with very solid players. Yes, people look at the Ivy League and immediately just think, yes, it's softer. But they got the job done. They have guys inside. I think they could even get to the Elite Eight as well.
Yeah, no chance I saw this coming, Joey. I'm sorry. But I can't sleep on the Ivy League. Like you mentioned, Caden Pierce. Shout out to him. 24 rebounds combined in the last 2 games. They out-rebounded Arizona with Ballo and Tubelis in the first round. Caden Pierce, a huge part of that.
Arkansas knocked off Kansas. We'll have a new national champion at the end of March this year. Zach, who do you see hoisting the trophy in Houston at the end of the month?
I think it's still going to be Alabama beating Texas in the final in Houston. The Tide are the best team right now. I do think a sleeper team, watch out for them, the Arkansas Razorbacks, who beat Kansas over the weekend. They have a very tough region going up against teams. UConn, they play this upcoming Thursday or Friday, and they're also going up, if they do win that game, they go up against UCLA or Gonzaga. They have a really tough region. Watch out for the Razorbacks, but Tide are the best team right now.
I'm with you. It's Alabama the whole way. We both have them winning our bracket, and it stays consistent throughout. Obviously not going to change it at this point after what I saw from them in the opening weekend. A phenomenal Alabama team. I'll agree with you. One of the sleepers is UConn. They're a team that has so much skill. They have depth. Love what Hurley's doing there. And then another sleeper I'll give you, I'm going to go with Michigan State as well. With Tom Izzo, it's just so hard to bet against him come this time of year. A guy with it was a nice win against Marquette. Roll it into the upcoming weekend. 3 teams I'm looking out for, but particularly Alabama to get it done.
And even Houston's a team that we're not really not talking too much about. They're going to go up against Texas if they do end up winning. But our fourth one is we're going to take things to the East region where 2 teams really stood out over the weekend. Number 3, Kansas State. They defeated number 6, Kentucky, behind 27 points and 9 assists from senior Marcus Noel. And number 4, Tennessee dominated number 5, Duke, 65-52, behind 27 points from Olivier Kamwa. Joey, which of these wins was more impressive in your opinion?
First off, got to give some love to Marcus Noel going down to Madison Square Garden, his hometown, this upcoming weekend. But I still think Tennessee had the more impressive win. You think, A, what Duke does this time of year. B, no one was really giving Tennessee a chance to win this game. People were kind of picking Louisiana to beat Tennessee in the opening round as well. I think it's an impressive Tennessee team. They came out of the gate, set the terms of the game. As soon as we saw the referees were going to let them play a little bit, as soon as the game got slowed down, they let Kyle Filipowski take a few shots. The defense was going to be the key. Seemed like Tennessee was going to get it done, playing it on their terms, and also playing it without star point guard Zakai Ziegler. Most impressive win of the weekend.
Props to Tennessee. They were bigger, better, stronger, faster than Duke. They completely dominated the game. But I'm going with Kansas State. Marcus Noel could be the player of the tournament if he keeps going as he's been at 5'8". He's averaging 22, 11, and 4 with 3 steals in each game. He went up against a bigger and better Kentucky team and beat them handily.
We're going to take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Up next, we discuss some of the biggest headlines from the NBA and the UFC. Stay tuned on WTOP 10. We have a working teleprompter.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of time.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Look at that. It's so sad.
Here's our weather elements and our social media on Saturday. And that's optional.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. Paul George went down last night grabbing a rebound, and it was revealed today the 8-time All-Star will miss at least 2 weeks. George will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks, but will miss the rest of the regular season with a chance to return for the playoffs. Zach, how do you feel about the Clippers having any type of momentum heading into the playoffs?
I think it's very unlikely. We look at the Clippers right now. They're at the 5 seed, Suns at the 4 seed, Warriors at the 6 seed, Thunder and Mavs tied for the 7 seed. I don't think they'll have much momentum going into the playoffs, though. George is their leading scorer. I'm surprised Kawhi has been on the court for as many games as he has. Westbrook, will be good in the playoffs, but I don't think he's going to be as influential as some people think. The Clippers have a good team, but I would take probably 5 or 6 teams over them.
You won't meet a bigger Russell Westbrook fan than I. they have no chance going into the playoffs, having any kind of momentum. If they have that first series without Paul George, they still have no chance. Kawhi Leonard, it also, to your point, Zach, it more or less kind of feels like we're waiting on him to tweak something or to miss a game for some reason. I have no trust in this Clippers team. There's so many strong teams out of the West. The Clippers probably aren't going to roll momentum. Down without a star player, the morale's going to be low. They're really going to need a miracle to make anything happen in the playoffs. Ja Morant made his first public appearance last night since the 23-year-old was suspended 2 weeks ago for showing a gun on Instagram Live. During the absence, Ja was in a counseling facility in Florida and now returns in a hopefully better form of himself. Zach, what do you think of this whole situation, and will we see Ja reach his full potential both on and off the basketball court?
Honestly, I think Ja can learn from these experiences as we look at the Grizzlies' records this season with and without Ja. 34-19 with him, 10-8 without him, and during that 10-8 stretch, 6-4 while he was suspended from the Grizzlies. I honestly think that he can learn from these experiences. I don't think he'll be able to change what people like me think about him now. But when it comes to basketball, the Grizzlies are a serious contender to win the NBA title this year. He's a top 5 point guard in the NBA when healthy. Has a fair argument for top 3.
This is without a doubt a Grizzlies team that needs Ja Morant to the point of if he'll get better. Obviously, on the court, I think he can reach it. Off the court, just kind of hope he figures things out. There's too much money at stake and too many rings to be sacrificed here. This has been a very unique season in the NBA as referees have been at the forefront of the association. Last night, referees headlined as Kawhi Leonard and Terrence Mann totaled 3 technical fouls in 30 seconds. And today, referee Ben Taylor was demoted following a rant 2 weeks ago from Toronto Raptors star Fred VanVleet. Zach, what are your thoughts on the ref show we've seen in the association this year?
Let's take a look at the technical fouls, Joey. Dillon Brooks with 18, Trae Young, Draymond Green, Luka tied at 16, and Anthony Edwards was 14. What are we doing in the NBA? It just does not make sense. It's pretty ridiculous at this point. It's adding to the list of why people don't really like watching the NBA, including myself. But I do think this is not all on the refs. I think looking at the players, they do deserve a little bit more leniency.
It's made no sense. If you look at no one's showing up to the games to watch refs do what they do. There's some, obviously, yes, you need to call technical fouls, but it's really something that we should be loose on.
Switching gears to the UFC, and still Leon Edwards is the welterweight champion, taking down Kamaru Usman by a majority decision in London on Saturday. Edwards had 120 significant strikes against Usman's 87, while the scorecards were 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47. Joey, your overall thoughts on this fight?
First off, the judges got it right. Usman won. There you see the significant strikes, like you said, 120-87. Control Usman with 5 minutes and 3 seconds on the ground. Obviously, the more experienced grappler. Takedowns, what I thought was really stood out in the fight, one of the takeaways here, was the takedown defense from Leon Edwards, keeping Usman to just 4 of 15. Leon, in my eyes, won the fight. I was a little worried the cage grab and the point deduction was going to take something away, but the judges got it right. Won the vast majority of the fight as the underdog in his hometown. A great fight from Leon. Kamaru didn't get knocked out, which is more or less a bit of a moral victory, but Leon proving that last headshot was not a fluke.
Yeah, like you said, the takedown defense was the difference in the fight. I did think Usman looked a bit hesitant looking for that head kick. He could have hit his peak already in the UFC. Now with Edwards defeating Usman twice, it is very likely that someone else gets a title shot at welterweight. A couple names that stand out in welterweight are Colby Covington, Khamzat Chimaev, Bilal Muhammad, and Gilbert Burns. Joey, who do you think deserves the next title shot at 170?
I think Khamzat Chimaev deserves the next shot. You see here the welterweight rankings still Usman, Covington, Chimaev, Muhammad, Burns. This is such a deep pool in the UFC, such a stacked weight class. I think Khamzat Chimaev deserves the next fight. The guy's an absolute horse. He's demolished everybody they've put in front of him. But at the end of the day, he's still probably too young, still probably a couple fights away. I think they'll give it to Colby, but I think right now the most deserving guy is going to be Khamzat. But with Colby's personality and then him being at the fight the other night, it almost seems like they're setting it up.
I think the weight thing with Khamzat kind of affected the UFC. I think it's going to be Colby. Anywhere else then London or Vegas definitely favors Colby. In the co-main event, Justin Gaethje defeated Rafael Fiziev, also by majority decision at lightweight. It was just Fiziev's second loss in MMA. Gaethje, now at 34 years old, was an interim lightweight champion in 2020 and said he's going to take one more shot at the title with Makhachev as the lightweight champ right now. Joey, do you think Gaethje's opportunity to win a title is over?
Yeah, we can keep this plain and simple. It's over. If Islam Makhachev has the lightweight title, the guy's just an absolute dog on the ground, on the feet. It doesn't matter. And you see the Gaethje versus Fiziev stats there, significant strikes, 103 to 97 head strikes, 81 to 38 body strikes, 14 landed by Gaethje. As long as Islam has the belt, Gaethje has no shot at winning it.
Yeah, I think Makhachev is going to hold the belt for a while. I also think Gaethje, not going to lie, is going to have to get through either Poirier or Oliveira to get a shot at the title. We do have to take a quick break. When we come back, Joey will be joined by Ben Diamond. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Stick to Sports on WTOP 10.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill
Should
told
we
me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is
It's
it?
Al Roker.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. Time for the fast break. Joining me now, Ben Diamond. Benny D, what do you got?
Thanks, Joey P. After 2 great weeks of baseball, Team Japan defeated Team USA in the championship game of the 2023 World Baseball Classic by a final score of 3-2. The tournament concluded with a perfect storybook ending for all baseball fans watching Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani face off for the first time. Ultimately, Ohtani bested Trout on a beautiful 3-2 slider to close the door and bring home Japan's 3rd ever WBC victory. During the post-game ceremony, Ohtani was named the WBC MVP for his performance throughout the tournament. Joey, what was your favorite moment from this year's tournament?
Without a doubt was Trey Turner's grand slam in the game against Venezuela. Coming back, the magnitude of that home run. I would say overall, just watching Team USA this entire time, a team that was so stacked 1 through 9 in the lineup, a team that really went in with no arms. It was a delight watching the game. Even better, it was great watching all the fans and how excited people were, both in Miami and Phoenix, overseas. Just the excitement around baseball right now is what seems to be at an all-time high, at least in our lives. And it's a great time to be a baseball fan right now.
Yeah, this tournament certainly showed the popularity of baseball, even though in the U.S. it doesn't seem as big, but around the world it certainly is still running hot. But the Czech Republic's valiant run stands out to me. Just seeing that a ragtag group of guys come together and build a team. Nicaragua's pitcher Duke Hebert signed to the Tigers hours after pitching, and 19-year-old Jacob Steinmetz pitching for Team Israel and striking out a high-powered lineup versus the DR. And last year I talked about Roki Sasaki, and now he is back in the U.S. media as the young Japan right-hander has mesmerized a new audience, pitching in front of fans in the United States for the first time ever. He started the semifinal game versus Team Mexico and looked strong through 3 innings before allowing a 3-run home run to Luis Urias. Consistently hitting 100 miles per hour or more on his fastball, he made fans of all MLB teams want him to come pitch for them when he eventually gets posted. Joey, how important is the WBC in helping talent like Sasaki get more recognition, especially from MLB fans?
First off, to touch on Sasaki, I mean, how awesome was it? I flipped the game on the other night, and he's one of 3 or 4 guys on Japan that sits 100, 101, disgusting splitter. It's great for all the talent, like you said. In a game like baseball where, if you hit 3 for 10 as a hitter, you're in the Hall of Fame, the old saying. It's also kind of interesting watching pitchers, like you said, the guy that got signed from Nicaragua who just struck out, I believe it was Soto and Devers. It's great watching these guys have a chance and make the most of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Sasaki is a great 2-pitch combo, fastball, splitter, and he's already spoken with Ohtani about what the process is when he gets posted, so we might see him very, very soon. The New York Mets closer Edwin Diaz tore the patellar tendon in his right knee, celebrating Puerto Rico's win over the Dominican Republic in the WBC. This injury will sideline Diaz for the entire MLB season, a huge blow to the Mets bullpen. While this injury adds fuel to the argument against MLB players playing in the WBC, many players have voiced their opinion, like Diaz's teammate Francisco Lindor, who says they play in the tournament for the love of their country. With Diaz out, who do you think the Mets will turn to close games in 2023?
This is going to be brutal for the Mets. I mean, you see Edwin Diaz here, the recent seasons in 2022, just unbelievable, a 1.3 ERA, 32 saves, 118 Ks. 2021, 3.45 ERA, 32 saves, 89 Ks, bit of a down year. Then in 2020, the shortened year, 1.75, 6 saves, 50 Ks. You look at the shortened season, you look at this past season, he's been unbelievable. It's going to be a big gap for the Mets to fill. I really don't like the argument that players should not play in the WBC because of an injury like this. It's a freak injury. You're playing baseball in spring training. So many of these guys love playing for their country. It was a great opportunity for Edwin Diaz. Just such an unfortunate injury.
It really is. I mean, just to be able to watch him play, especially in a New York market, just the high power that he brings and what he brings to that Mets team and the fans, it really does hurt a lot for the baseball community. But I think going to who might fill in, David Robertson has come a likely candidate to probably fill in that role, having already been in that position before. So we'll see what Buck Showalter goes with as the season gets underway.
We'll take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Thanks again to Ben for the fast break. When we come back, Zach, Ben, and I will head into extra innings. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Stick to Sports on WTOP 10.
Shine on that black.
Look at the bling. Look at the, do we got a diamond tester on? Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep.
10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. It is time for another edition of Extra Innings. And I am joined by Joey Polatsky, Zach Malamud. And we have four picks for tonight and then our lock of the week. So let's get it started. Quickly, number 7 Michigan State at -2 versus number 3 Kansas State in the NCAA tournament. Zach, our resident NCAA tournament college basketball guy.
Thank you, Ben. K-State is going to take this one. Marcus Noel is a monster. Keontae is a dog. They're underdogs. Keep doubting this team. K-State all the way.
They're underdogs for a reason because Tom Izzo in March. Don't bet against him. Marcus Noel, I'm excited for what he's going to do in the homecoming game. Love the story of Keontae Johnson. It's Tom Izzo in March.
I'm going to go with Michigan State. I'm going to go with Joey, Michigan State, -2. And now we're going to go to our other resident college basketball guy, Joey Polatsky. Number 8 Arkansas versus number 4 UConn. UConn is -3.5 favorites. Joey.
UConn -3.5. Andre Jackson is from Albany. My mom works with his mom. He played back home over the weekend. The whole family was there. I think his mom's flying out to Vegas to watch him. They're taking care of this game easily.
Arkansas. Keep the points, boys. Keep the points. Money line. Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., Davis. Boys, Musselman taking his shirt off. I love it. Love the energy.
I like the Arkansas pick. I mean, defeating Kansas last round, I think, really gives them the edge for me over UConn. Moving over to number 3 Gonzaga versus number 2 UCLA, who is favored at -2. Zach, who you got in this matchup?
Gonzaga, it's a day of underdogs for me. I'm going with the Zags. And if somebody on UCLA can stop Drew Timme, let me know. Zags.
And Zach and I will oppose each other for the 3rd straight matchup here.
Keep
Who
going.
on Gonzaga is going to stop Jaime Jaquez? UCLA to the bank. This could be a championship game. It's such an unbelievable matchup. This is a Sweet 16 game, but I'm going with UCLA.
In my bracket, I have UCLA winning this matchup. This is one of my two matchups I have correctly, so UCLA right here.
Quick shout out to my sister Jenna, who is actually going to be at the game in Las Vegas.
Oh, it's in Vegas?
Yeah,
Jenna.
Vegas.
That's
Good
fun.
job, Jenna.
Nice. And now number 3 Xavier, number 2 Texas. Texas favored -4. Joey, who you got?
I have Texas in this one. I thought Penn State was going to knock off Texas, and Texas looked extremely impressive in that win against Penn State. Give me Texas.
We agree on this one. Texas, Marcus Carr is going to have 30. Xavier has played 2 mediocre opponents. Texas for the win.
I'm going to go, again, this is one I have correct, Xavier. I'm going to go against both of you guys.
We haven't been unanimous yet.
I'm going Xavier on this one,
Interesting.
and I think they're going to take it for my bracket's sake. Our locks of the week. Zach, who's your lock?
So I'm going to go. I was hesitant if Joey was going to pick Tennessee against FAU. So Miami +7 against Houston. Houston doesn't score a lot. Miami +7. It's going to be a close game. I do think Houston wins it, though.
Tennessee, 5-point favorites. This FAU team is hated for knocking off FDU and for trying to yam the ball at the buzzer when you're up by 10 or 15 at the end of the game the other night. Tennessee's going to set the keys or set the pace of the game early. They're going to play this defense. Vols are going to take care of it.
I'm going a completely separate direction from both of you.
You're going NHL here?
I'm going NHL here right now.
Wow.
Bruins are favored at -430. That's obviously a lot, but that's not what I'm going with.
I'm not going
with the Bruins. I'm not going with the Bruins. I'm going with the over 6.5.
Who are they playing?
Canadians. I'm going over 6.5
This man likes
for the
goals.
Bruins.
At -430. So they're going to win the game, 7-0?
Probably, because Linus Olmark's probably going to be in net.
Shout out to Bubba, Canadians fan.
Shout out to my brother Jason, who's probably not watching, but he's a Bruins fan. And they just beat the Sabres 7-0.
We have fans everywhere.
Yeah,
here
of course.
in Oswego.
Yeah, so Bruins, Canadians, over 6.5 goals. That's my lock.
Tennessee
I'm sure.
-5. Take it to the bank. Zach, what was yours?
Miami +7, boys. Keep sleeping on the Hurricanes.
Yankees World Series future.
That could be a lock of the week at some point.
That will be the
once
lock.
we get to MLB season.
Yeah.
That'll do it for Extra Innings. That's all the time we have on today's episode of Stick to Sports. Come back Wednesday, April 5th, right here on WTOP 10. We'll have the teleprompter for all 4 blocks, we promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.